Well, welcome to Be a Refuge, and we're so happy to have our friend Sherrey Neckers here today. I'm excited. Are you excited, Kathy?
I'm so excited. I've been cooking up this episode since we started because I want more people to know about Sherrey and who Sherrey is in our community and joining us the Refuge Administrator almost 2 years ago. Close to 2 years. In a couple months, it'll be 2 years ago, and how that changed so many things for our community. So we're really happy you can come play with us today. Joe and I have been having fun.
Yeah. Excited. Yeah, we didn't have an administrator for 15 years.
Yes, 15 years.
Which is just wild. Which is wild. Yeah.
I don't know if wild
Unhealthy.
might go with kind of dumb. No, but I think what we did do, we pieced things together. We did piece things together. It wasn't that there was one person doing all the administrative tasks. It was split up. But I mean, I can say honestly, a lot did fall on me because it's a toxic skill that I have, which are things that you can do that you shouldn't be doing, because they're not super life-giving. And then we weren't always who we are today. I mean, that's the other piece. Things used to be smaller and different, but administration and coordination is a gift. And not everybody has it. And
for those who are listening, I just raised my hand.
You did. You did. And so finally, what kind of came to pass is that it became clear that the refuge needed to invest financially in a refuge administrator. And I'm going to say this was like the first like hire in this way that we ever made. And so it was really a big deal. Like, we made a real job description and we sent it to our friends. And we just said, do you know anybody? And I feel so grateful that Jen Jepson, who is a dear friend of mine and connected to the refuge and has actually been intern at the Refuge Cafe as Masters of Social Work, this past season, she messaged me. I knew I'd ask her because she knows a lot of wonderful people. And she said, oh my gosh, Sherrey Neckers is a total possibility for this. And so all the bells and whistles went off. And so tell us more, Sherrey, like what that was like for you, what it's like being part, and just, help us know the wild entrance into the refuge community and holding us all together for the last 2 years.
What that was like for me. Yeah, I mean, so I had met you, Kathy, in 2018 at a conference through Jen, and I was in a nonprofit at the time that was not healthy. And then I saw the refuge and I was like, oh, this is what it can be like. Let's do that. And so I think I just kind of tucked it away in the back of my everything for a really long time. And then COVID hit and I got laid off from a different toxic job I was in. And Jen reached out and said, hey, the refuge is hiring and you have to apply. And then I emailed you, Kathy, and I was so nervous because I just kept thinking, there is no way this woman remembers me, first of all. I'm just going to embarrass myself because I'm going to pretend like I know her, and I don't. But I do. I just don't know. It was weird. And then I figured out, I didn't realize that was essentially my cover letter to the entire refuge. I thought I was just reaching out as a personal connection. But it turned out that you did remember me, if only through Jen, I don't even know, but
I remember.
no, it's so weird. And yeah, I sent my resume over and interviewed, and the interview was such a hoot. It was so much fun just to sit down and chat with you people, and it just felt so good. It felt so good, and it's felt good ever since.
Ah, it gives me chills because I remember, and it was me and Mike Herzog and Katie Peterson, because Katie Peterson was somebody who really did hold a lot of things as a community life coordinator for a chunk of years. She really did a ton of stuff. And I want to say that out loud, that like that's how we do things. You know, it's like all of us were together and we all got off. We're like, oh my gosh, Sherry would be perfect. And then we're like, please, 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 please let her say yes.
Yeah.
Good. I love it.
I want to say this is kind of like what this has been like for you. The very beginning when we formed this position and we were interviewing, and we interviewed other people, just so you know, like that's another we did, and that's not like us, and we did it. And that was a really good thing. But was what it would be like. This is a big thing to us, for the system, our organization, to adapt to your unique needs as a mom of a baby. And wanting to stay home but work, and wanted to do stuff to contribute and, you know, and be part of something. And so like, how could a system conform to a person instead of people always having to conform to a system? So I'd love to hear more about that for you.
Yeah, this is something you and I, Kathy, have talked at length about. And it's such a core gut goodness heart thing. It's kind of hard to talk about it, even though we have and we do a lot. But a little more context for me was, not only had COVID been a thing, I had a baby in March of 2021, and my husband had cancer, and he had a surgery for said cancer 10 days after the baby was born. And so it really shifted for me from, I need to get out of toxic work environments, to, no, I absolutely have to. I know exactly what needs to happen now. And it felt impossible to find. I had been applying to so many jobs. It turns out not a lot of people want to hire very pregnant people. I don't know why. It's so weird. But when I interviewed Ada, our daughter, Ada was 5 weeks old.
Wild.
She was 5 weeks old. And I just remember thinking, could it be possible for me to do this? Because all these other places that I had worked, and, you know, leading up to this position, had said things like, oh, our employees are like our family. We're like a family here. And now I'm like, that's a giant red flag. Because that means, in my experience,
we don't respect your boundaries.
Yes, exactly. And
we're enmeshed.
Yeah, they're expecting you to lay down your everything for them. And I wasn't about to lay down that baby for someone. Not at that time in my life. Not that I would, like, anyway, but it just, in a very different way, it just felt like this absolutely has to be the way that it is. I have to have income, and I have to stay home. Also, I can't work and afford childcare. I would be working to pay someone to watch my child. So that's not going to work. And we wanted just a healthy place to be. And I remember the first day sending a picture to my husband of the bassinet next to the desk with a coffee cup and a water bottle and my computer and notebooks. And I was going to be meeting with Katie Peterson. And I was so excited that I could be doing that with my infant right next to me. And the same time, I had this kind of underneath worry of, oh gosh, but what if she cries? Like, I don't want to be disruptive. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get off on the wrong foot. And then I picked her up and showed her to Katie. And then Katie talked about her kids. And it was just a part of it. Being the mom, being the new hire, being the person, there was no separation. And I have gotten to the point where I don't apologize for my kid in the background. I might warn people. Sometimes she can sound a little feral, but she is as much a part of the refuge as I am. And I see that when we walk into that space and people light up and talk to her, and she lights up and gives hugs and blows kisses and talks to people when they're not there. If we're on Voxer and she hears Kathy's voice, it's constantly, hi Kathy, hi Kathy, bye Kathy, hi Kathy, love you too. And she's loved there. She knows that she's loved there. And that's all we wanted. And yet I know the refuge hiring me was a huge leap of faith. Because it could have gone terribly wrong for all of us. But we make it work. And it's so much a part of the culture of the refuge. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because it just is what it is.
This could be our new t-shirts. The refuge. We make it work.
Yeah, because it's possible. And you're a systems person, Joe, so you know like what's possible. And it's like if you let go of these old assumptions and you just go, oh my goodness, let's rethink the whole thing because the thing is kind of dumb. And the thing that we're conforming to.
Yeah. And like those structures and systems are helpful in some ways, but yeah, sometimes we're like, it's like if you live in a big apartment and you own a king size mattress and you never want to, it's like a really nice mattress. And then every other place you go, you want to keep the mattress. So you have to find a place that's big enough to have the mattress when maybe you want to live in a tiny house, or maybe you want to be like a nomad, or maybe, like, and you're just but it's like you're stuck because it's like, I have to keep this mattress. It's a silly analogy, but I think that like we're just so, it's like, what if we just like got rid of the mattress? Then it's like expansive possibilities, but that's scary because we're used to certain things. But like, what if we just try it out and experiment and see like if we can have an administrator who can be a full-time mom and a part-time administrator and be at home, and that works, and yeah, figure it out. So yeah, it's been fun to see that kind of blossom, and it's been a huge gift. Like, I have no idea all the intricacies of what you do. I know it's a lot of things, but I like by osmosis, I have seen what it's done for our community, and I am super grateful.
It makes me think that the administrator title is not as accurate now. And this is another piece of like systems evolving, you know, like going, okay, so it was the right thing a few years ago. Totally. And now it's not so much, because so much of your work has evolved to really supporting kind of all these things about community life and the big picture. And so I don't know, it's hard to come up with what the right thing is, but we're going to. So like that's on the table, which is another piece of like, you can get rid of the bed and see what might be possible. You don't have to have roles that everybody in the other world understands, and that sometimes it doesn't really describe all that you do. And then there are even assumptions about those roles. So what does that feel like for you?
I'm thinking about I think it was the last grant that I was submitting some application stuff for, and we had to list out all the staff, and I was putting everyone's titles in, and they were all fancy and all the things. Not fancy, just like who has that title anywhere. And then mine's just administrator. And I was like, yeah, no, I need to work. Because
Yes.
it really, I feel like our titles are, they're a beautiful reflection of in at least within the refuge, right? This beautiful reflection of who we are as people, and also what we do in this space. And coming on 2 years ago, administrator was perfect. And now yeah, no, there's a lot. I'm workshopping this this title thing, because I don't know what I do there. I don't know all my intricacies, Joe. I feel like
so list a few things that you do, so that we get an idea. I mean, or all of them, but we only have 35 minutes, so
yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, we're working on pretty much taking over bookkeeping stuff, which was super scary at first because numbers. Woo. And do some grant work, lots of grant work, a lot of visual things for our events and social media. We have another fantastic soul, Kamla, who helps with that a little bit, and that's so fun. But yeah, do a lot of social media stuff, and just a lot of the communications that come through, any emails or phone calls, come to me in a slightly non-traditional way, in that it's Google Voice and your voicemails are transcripts. But personally, I love that. So
Awesome.
realize it's not for everyone, but I'm much happier to read and compose and then respond than I am to just like be on the phone. It's scary. Yeah, geez, what else, Kathy?
Oh my gosh.
Enough.
Yes, I can add. Let me add. Okay.
Stuff, scheduling. I don't know.
So Refuge, so piece of your Refuge is you've been introduced to a lot of the different things that so far, and there's so many more. Like, we're not going to finish community life in this first season. That's how many things are going on. And if you look at the website, you know, each of those items are different community life people. And so Sherrey really supports each of those things by getting them on the calendar, getting the right graphics and all the events that kind of make all of that go. And then also like having where to find everything. So like this was an ongoing thing. Like, we actually have Katie Peterson helped us when she started it, but then Sherrey took it to a whole other place that we actually know where to find things. Not always, but we have like these amazing sheets that I literally use every day of my life that Sherrey made. Every day I use it. And it shows all the links to everything. Like, it's like a menu, like you can just go. And I need it all the time because we have so many things going on. and then I can just find it and I can share it. And it's like, it's magic. And I do have moments I can say this. So I'll pause for a second. So all of those things are not just one thing. There's like 20 of them. And so there's 20 of those things that have that ripple part. The other part that Sherrey does is she's part of the Refuge Cafe team with some hours dedicated to that, because that has some things, coordinating lunches, getting the DMV to go things out to everybody, coming and knowing what everyone is doing, going on site with Ada, who we love, because systems can adapt to people. And so coming and bringing in a little one that brings so much life to us, and then filing things in cabinets, in actual files. And so we don't have a bunch of those because we've tried to electronicize things, or electronic things. I don't even know how you say it. But that is movement too. We didn't have those abilities. And so what Sherrey has is, I would say, like, she's the glue and the thread, like, sees the big picture from above and then also underneath. And like, we love lists. Her and I are like list people. So we have this amazing working document. I think it's like 100 something pages now. And we just like make lists and talk to each other in Google comments and Voxer. And you know what? It totally works. We get a lot of stuff done this way. When she taught me how to make check marks. I get so excited. Hers are purple and mine are red. So that's a lot of information.
Man, I'm thinking about names now, like Wizard, the Refuge.
I don't know, I was thinking Sherrey Neckers, glue and thread. Just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Glue and thread.
I actually kind of like that. And then people be like, what's that? And we're like, what do you think? She's the glue. She's the thread.
What do you need it to be today?
Yeah. Yeah, the duct tape. The Refuge duct tape. Oh, I love that.
So I think one thing that would be super helpful to hear is just a piece is the Refuge also. So it's about systems adapting, but it's also about healing parts in ourselves. And we talk about corrective experiences, and that a corrective experience is a time where we can, in community, repair something that was broken from other experiences that we had. And so, we can offer love and support when you're usually met with shame and disconnection. And we can offer openness on spirituality when you're used to one way, or like whatever. Everyone's corrective experience is different. Mine has been that I could like truly be me as a leader, like who I am with what I do. And I didn't have to like tamp it down. I could just be a nurturer and a community cultivator. It's been a corrective experience for me. So I'm just wondering what that has been like for you in the last almost 2 years now in terms of corrective experiences.
Yes. All of that. Yeah, so back when I met you, Kathy, in 2018, I was that was a pretty thick of a deconstruction season. I know that word is like a lot of things to a lot of different people right now, but I was attending a Christian college, finishing my degree, and online, which is good because I probably would have gotten kicked out if it weren't. Could hide behind my screen a little bit. It tore open a lot for me around theology and humanity, and seeing the Refuge even then made me feel like there's a little bit of hope here. I feel like there's a little bit of hope here. Let's go with this. And I think that is still unfolding for me. And seeing the ways of the people in this community, all the people, and the humanity of all the people, and the way that spirituality is a vein in this place. It is a life source. And it's also okay to just let it be that and not give it attention. Like, the heart is going to beat and it will keep things alive. And it is okay if we don't sit and listen to the heartbeat and count the heartbeat to make sure that it's still there, because it is. We're still alive. So it's still there. And there's a lot of safety in that for me. And I can go finally to Spiritual Formation Sunday and participate and feel good about it and safe to wonder. I had another pastor previously in my life who introduced the idea of questioning God. So that was cool. And I feel like here it's that, but it's a little bit different in that I think I don't know, it's expansive and beautiful and it all feels limitless to me. I think nothing is off limits around spirituality or self, in wondering and coming to know what faith or spirituality means to me right now, or who I am and what I'm doing. Like, there's been things that have come up for me, particularly around creativity at the Refuge, that I thought, oh, like I can't have any say in that. That is not my thing. And now I'm just doing stuff because eventually Kathy was like, you don't have to ask. Like, we hired you to do this because we trust you. Like, just and so coming to know and trust myself, and to not only know it, but to embrace it and encourage it and allow myself to experience it for the first time, in a way, like experience myself for the first time, I think, because I don't have to hush anything.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, are you a poet?
No.
I think you might be.
Maybe.
That heartbeat thing was just
ramble.
So beautiful. Like, that metaphor was really touching to me, actually, of just like, it's there, it's beating. It's like breath, it's like we don't have to think about it. You can tune into it, you can regulate, you can think about your breath, you can think about your heartbeat, but it's there, sustaining. And that thread of that sustaining thread that's just there you can plug in or not to it, but it's there. That was really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I think you might be a poet. Maybe.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. And the part that I love is that we're always evolving. So we're going to keep practicing. And this is the other part that I really love about you that I just want to name, is that you get it, that you can't like make all the changes all at once. You can't like clear the deck tomorrow and have it be the way we want it to be. But then slowly, surely, when we like put it out, like it can happen. And so I think that that is a really unique skill, because it's an acceptance of what is without resignation of what is. And then it is dreaming, like catalyzing what could be. And but I also just want to say, I know that that can be frustrating sometimes. So yeah, tell us, how frustrated do you feel about some of that, or how does that resonate with you?
You know, not as frustrated as you might think I would feel. Because for me, that is something that I have found I always love doing. Like coming into a system, seeing how it's being done, tuning in and figuring out what people might be open to changing. Because I'm not going to force anything. That is just not going to work. But we did the strengths workshop recently, right? And one of the things for me, as you were talking, Kathy, I'm like, oh shoot, it's like she knows me. Because I can look at people, and I can look at an organization and let it be what it is. Like, I love individualization, like seeing people for who they are and what their strengths are, and encouraging that in them and building it up in them. And it's the same for an organization. It's like the organization is its own person. And yeah, I mean, sure, there's things that work, things that don't. I love that you're like, it's so much better because we can find we can't find anything. I can't find anything. If it weren't for search, the search function in Google, that would not. But I do acknowledge that there has been some forward motion in that, and I love it. And yeah, I mean, there's things that we can change, and there's things that we have changed. And I think even just in the last 2 years, there has been a lot of changes. And now I was just telling Joe a little bit ago, we're like in this lull, and I feel like every time we get into it's not a lull. There's no such thing as a lull at the refuge, but this kind of entering into a quieter season. And so Kathy, you and I are like, hey, let's change everything because we have time. We don't have time. We don't, but we change it, and it's fun, and it works, and it's good. And yeah, I've always loved seeing what's good about a person or a thing, and learning from it and encouraging it. And I'm honored to get to be a part of that in any setting I can.
I love that. So what you're saying is corporations are people? No, I'm just joking.
Oh,
just joking.
How much time do we have?
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that image, and just, yeah, thinking of it as like naturally you're a nurturer of your relationships, and so like a refuge as an organization viewing it in that way too, of like, how can we grow, how can we shift, how can we change? And I think that's really beautiful and nourishing. All right, you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Yes.
Okay. What's one word that best describes the refuge for you?
Breath.
Okay, so finish this sentence. I keep connecting with the refuge community because
I don't have a choice. That's not
just clarify that it's not just about the money.
I know that it's rapid fire, but I feel like I need to give a little bit of context because I'm not trapped here. It's just like the big things in my life have always been, I don't have a choice. I just have to do this. This is what I have to do. And that's been the refuge for me since the beginning. It just is. I just have to. I don't have a choice.
And that's a positive.
Yes,
Thank
in a
God.
positive way. Yes.
Okay.
I have a child. I live in Colorado. I'm married. Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
love it. One of the most irritating parts of the refuge is
Be honest. Be honest.
Can't find anything. No. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think like I don't like it being irritating, but it kind of is. Just change is hard. Change is hard. And so implementing really important new processes, particularly that are necessary for growth, organization and process and things like that it's really hard. It's hard for everybody. And so I don't like that it's one of those kind of frictiony things for me, because it just is a real thing. Like it just is. But some days just do it.
I feel ya. Last one, being part of the refuge community has helped me ...
Believe a lot of things.
Mhm.
Like,
Lovely.
yeah.
When we do our closing round that we do a lot of different places. So say I'm leaving today with a little bit more, a little bit less of blank.
I am leaving with a little more. Ooh, words are hard. See, I'm not a poet. I can't think of words. It's a feeling for me. A little more lift, like just a little lighter. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah,
That's where my
there's
brain
no wrong
goes.
answer. Yeah, mine's similar. I can't, it's hard to articulate, but it was like thinking like sunshiny, like brightness. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just leaving with this mix of just so many positive feelings. They're all just like together in like what, leaving with a feeling of there are things that are just so right. And not as in right how we think of right, but like in wholeness and like, that settled in. So I'm leaving with that feeling. Like just this is so right to do this together with you, with both of you. And I just, it gives me chills and it makes me cry. It just does. It's like an exhale. I'm leaving with an exhale. So thanks for today. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
Exhale on 3. I'm just kidding.